Okay. We're live now, huh?
We're live. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, let me switch my view. All right. Fantastic. We are live today. Our topic is your ideal customer profile. Who is your ideal customer? We are Nate and Simone, and we have a guest in the room, Karen Searle, who is a bookkeeping expert. And we are here to talk marketing, specifically, who is your ideal customer, how to get that profile, how to know who they are. And yeah, we'll talk more about it. Anyway, welcome,
Yeah.
subscribe, like, and share this out to others so that others will learn. Thanks for joining. How you doing, Nate? Let's go.
I'm good, good. Thanks. Yeah. I'm Nate Grossman. My business is GHG Unlimited. I help businesses become more visible, viable, and valuable um, and through setting up systems and processes in their business, which all leads to revenue growth, right? Predictable revenue growth. Um, and today we are going to discuss like Simone said, target profile, right? Target ideal customer profile, excuse me. Um, so just to kind of give you an overview, we're going to talk about why understanding your ideal matters and how it can impact your profitability and the brand connection. We're gonna talk about we're gonna focus on some things that you may not be aware of or familiar with in terms of building your ideal customer profile. So there's demographics, but then are you familiar with psychographics, for example? And then how you go about refining your message for your audience and giving some actionable strategies to help create those effective customer profiles. And at the end, if we make it all the way through, we're going to have a little activity where you get a chance to create your ideal customer profile. So, yeah, just to kick things off, do you truly understand your ideal customer, or could you be missing hidden opportunities to connect with them better? That's our opening question. So, I guess Karen, well, what do you say about that?
My ideal customers. My ideal customers would be people that are tired of doing their books, spending so much time focusing on doing their books instead of really what they got into business to do. Um, Maybe a customer who is too busy and doesn't have time to take a vacation because they are too busy trying to run their business and take care of their books. And so I'm looking for like referral partners, like people that might know, like maybe a tax professional who, like, it's tax season right now and the books are not complete from the whole year. So they need a bookkeeper to go in there and fix their books before they can file their taxes. So focusing on what other professionals you can uh, ref- refer with, and then if I have a bookkeeping client that might need their taxes done, then I could certainly refer them as well. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, great. Well, so you're kind of jumping the gun here. You're all the way down to referral partners already.
Mhm, mhm.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so why do we want to understand our ideal customer, Simone? Why is that crucial?
Well, because the biggest thing that I can think of is that we want to make sure that we are actually solving a problem that they actually have. We're not creating a solution in search of a problem. And then when it comes to our marketing, we want to make sure that our messaging is speaking to the right people and that we are attracting the right people. because as they say, all money ain't good money. So you may have people kind of banging down your door and wanting to work with you, but they're not the people that you want to work with. And then also you want to make sure that you are attracting the people that you do actually want to work with and that you do actually have solutions for, you know. So those are the ideas that spring off the top of my head when it comes to why you want to know who your ideal customer is.
Yeah. I'm guessing, Karen, that in your years of bookkeeping, that you probably had clients that you preferred not to work with. You didn't, but you had to because you didn't have a choice. Was
Yes,
that,
yes, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. But now you do, right? So that's
Yes,
great.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah. I worked a lot in the
fantastic.
nonprofit field, so I do have contacts. So I guess, you know, former contacts or former coworkers, you could always, speak to them too as well. But
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. Okay, so here's a interesting question and something to consider. Um, you know, there's a lot of things that are changing nowadays, especially when it comes to marketing and your online presence. There's the whole thing with AI and everything like that, Like, I guess, Karen, do you feel that your clients' needs may be changing as well? Do you get that impression at all, or is it pretty
I'm
much
sorry,
bookkeeping
repeat
is
that
bookkeeping?
again. Re-
Well, there's a lot of things that are changing nowadays,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to marketing and that, and like, your online presence, there's all AI and all this. There's
Yeah.
lots of stuff out there, right? Do you feel that bookkeeping is pretty much the same, or do you think that, your clients may have changing needs as time goes on?
I think they might have changing needs as time goes on. Because I mean, you hear a lot of it now that I saw a lot of different ads for AI can do your accounting work. So, you have to take that into consideration as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
Do you feel
you know,
threatened by AI at all yet, or?
a little bit, but some people are still old school and want somebody to actually look at their books and because AI can is only as good as if, as long as you're checking it and verifying that everything is correct. But
Yeah.
it I don't think it's there yet, but it could be. But there's still those people that are still old school and they want the actual bookkeeper to do their work, to somebody that's knowledgeable, somebody that understands financial statements and understands the different intricacies of their business. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And one thing with AI works well when you already know how to do what you're asking it to do.
Yes, exactly.
Um, so so somebody like you can actually take a client's information, put it into
Yes,
AI, and
yes,
verify whether it's correct or not.
right.
Whereas if they put it into AI and they're looking at it and they may not know
They might not
whether it's
really
correct or
understand.
not. Yeah,
Right,
they're not
right,
understanding
right.
what's really happening. So
Mhm.
so I think AI works better in the hands of people who know
We're
what they're
knowledgeable.
asking it to do. Yeah,
Exactly,
more
exactly,
knowledgeable. So
exactly.
we really do need to, when it comes to AI, be using it rather it using us
Exactly.
and treating it as it's an assistant rather than the
The lead.
the
Yeah.
lead
Yes.
uh,
Hmm.
employee in your business.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Uh, can we think of any examples of where a company has really nailed their target customer
I can think of
profile?
one.
Go ahead.
I was actually scrolling Facebook one day and I came across this post for a coach who was advertising his new program, and his new program is called the Husband School. And the Husband School is targeted towards men who want to learn how to be better husbands and better leaders in the home.
Mm,
And I think it's also targeted towards Christian men. So,
Okay.
um, and so me as a woman, I'm reading this and I'm disqualified, right, for this
right.
program. Automatically, I'm
Right.
disqualified. He is not targeting me. I can see that immediately in
Yep.
his messaging.
Right.
Um, and I went through and I was reading some of the comments, and some people were triggered, like, "Oh my gosh, why are you talking?" A lot of men were like, "Well, what about the women? Why, you need to fix them." And
Mm-hmm.
and other men are saying, "Wow, we've needed this forever."
Yeah.
And women are in the comments saying, "Oh, this is fantastic. Like, I need
Mm-hmm.
to recommend this to my husband or to my
Right.
boyfriend or
Right.
whatever." Right. So it was very polarizing. It was very polarizing. It made some people angry, and it made some people just very, very drawn towards him. So he knew who his audience was, right? I am putting this out there for a particular type of man who understands, like, these are some of the issues that he has,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here to help him with them.
Right. Right.
And and me looking at the post, I can see immediately that this is not the program for me, right? I'm not a
Right. Right.
husband. I
You
can't
know
go to
that.
husband
Right.
school, right?
Yes.
So I'm immediately disqualified. He In his messaging, he targeted a specific type of person, and
Yep.
everybody else need not apply, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and so I
it's
thought that was
important.
like very, very good, very niche down.
Yeah, and it's important to note that it's as much about who is not your target customer as it is who is your target customer, right? Um, Perfect case in point, right? Definitely had people who were not included in that, right? Um, okay, so now that we talked a little bit about why it's crucial to understand the ideal customer, let's get into what really defines the ideal customer and how we can do that. So um, we know the idea of demographics, right? Are we
Mhm.
familiar with demographics? It's basically age, location, income, right? But that's kind of like just the tip of the iceberg.
Scratching the surface.
Yeah. There's also psychographics, and those get into more about what does your ideal customer value? What are their interests? What is their lifestyle like? You know, you could get into even as minute detail as talking about what religion they are, where they spend their most time, what kind of magazines they read, right? Like um,
What
knowing
are their
that knowing
hobbies?
and hobbies, absolutely. Yeah, that goes in
Yeah,
that
how they
lifestyle,
spend
right?
their time. Yeah.
Yeah, because you might, come across or hit upon an idea for placing an ad in a certain location where for example, there's a ton of people that are needing bookkeeping services that you provide, and if you've crafted that particular ad in such a way that it's specifically for, that. Then boom, all right, so yeah, it's just kind of like goes beyond that surface level, um, and really shows that you really understand who you're talking to. There is a I would call it a famous um, uh, little thing here. It's called the I'm stuttering all over myself here. The one sentence persuasion course. It's a There's a guy named Blair Warren. He is a longtime um, copywriter. He was in the copywriting business for 20 plus years, and he sort of distilled all of his knowledge from 20 years into one sentence that perfectly sums up how you can get anybody to do anything you want. And part of that, obviously, is thinking about those psychographics, what's going on inside their brain. So the one sentence goes, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So if you can do all of those things in all of your social media, any kind of messaging that you're putting out there, then you're going to attract, that's like a huge chunk of the effort to attract your ideal customer. Because it shows that you really understand where they're coming from, right? So anyway, all right. So what about right now, Kara? I know that you are kind of new in your business, but who would you say is like your most would be your most profitable customers?
I would say restaurants. I would say small businesses that like any type of trade business that really don't have the time to get their books done. Definitely restaurants,
What
nonprofits
what
who
makes you say,
limited
sorry?
budget.
Okay, what makes you say restaurants?
What restaurants? Because
Yeah.
they have a very different type of um, how they handle accounting stuff because they deal with their waiters and waitresses and tips and stuff like that. So it's a very different type of field. Um, and nonprofits, that's also a different type of field that you deal with because you deal with fundraising, you deal with grants and stuff like that. So um, I've worked with a lot of nonprofits in my life. So I would think that that would be like a niche for me. So that would be a target that I would try to target. Um,
Okay.
so
Do you, I would kind of also, say you might want to consider the mission of the nonprofit as well. Does that
yes,
align with,
yes, exactly,
your
exactly,
values and things like that?
exactly.
Um, okay. So, so we kind of talked a little bit about AI and whatnot. Like, are you evolving with the changing times and are you incorporating newfangled technologies, or you're pretty much sticking to the old school system there?
No, I actually use AI to help me craft emails. Like I'll type in what I want and then ask it to be, it'll say like you want to be professional, you want to be academic, you want to be whatever. And I try to utilize that to try to help me craft, you know, um, like eye-catching emails and stuff like that that people won't just say, oh, just another business, sending a spam, So,
Yeah. Does that are you using things like that to kind of enhance your customer's experience, or is that your intention?
not yet. No, I haven't. Mm-mm. Just with sending my emails out and stuff like that right now. So,
Okay. Okay, so I guess as you're going along, one thing that I would recommend is to elicit feedback from your customers,
mhm.
find out from them what's working for them, what's not.
Okay.
Um, you know, highly recommend, are you meeting with people mainly remotely or is it nearby or
Remotely, yes. Mhm,
yeah.
definitely remotely, yeah.
So I would highly recommend getting something like the Fathom Note Taker that we're using, record
Yes.
that.
Yes.
AI will transcribe it for you, create a summary for you.
Okay.
You can set up an automation. Like I have an automation set up
Uh-huh.
using Zapier
Hmm.
where when I have a new recording, it takes the transcript and the summary and puts it into a Google Doc, or excuse me, Google Sheets for me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I can keep track of my meetings, what we talked about, and then whether or not I followed up with them. It's
Okay.
just things like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Hmm.
stuff, a lot of interesting stuff you can do with with these tools that help streamline and make sure that you're, keeping on keeping up with what your customers are saying
Right,
too, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that one.
I did one where I pulled a bunch of the transcripts, uploaded them into Notebook LM, and then asked Notebook LM to
Yeah.
pull out quotes, um, pull out the problems and the issues that my ideal client is having, and
Mhm.
just kind of list them out and use some of the quotes that they actually said. So I have it in their actual words, so
Okay,
I
that's a
can
great
know
idea.
whether I am actually if I'm actually, honing in on their issues and their problems and what they're concerned about, just making sure that I know what it is that they're actually concerned about based on what they told me.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
rather than going
that's
back and listening to all of the, watching all of the videos again,
Yes,
I could just
yes,
have AI distill it down for me and summarize
yeah.
and
right,
give me a
right.
long list.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
can go in there and say, what did we talk about on this day?
Mhm.
Okay,
What were the main subjects that we talked about? And it will create a summary for you instantly.
Yeah.
It's
Or
so
give you a
amazing.
to-do list, right? Like, what was my to-do from this meeting?
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And it's
And
free.
it'll
And
pull it
Notebook
up.
LM
Okay.
is free.
Which is
Exactly,
awesome.
exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Fantastic
so
tool.
yeah, yeah. There's so much that you can do there. But all right, what was I gonna say? Well, let's keep rolling here. All right. So once you've defined your ideal customer, the next challenge is how you're going to connect with them, right? What does that look like? And so Simone just started talking a little bit about, using the transcripts, finding out what they're saying. By the way, that's what I was going to ask, Karen. Do you have like, qualifying questions that you're asking your customer, kind of like intake process and that, and because
Yes, yeah, I do. I find out what they're using currently. Do they have an actual bookkeeper or are they just winging it themselves? Um, I ask them what type of accounting method they're using, whether they're on a cash basis or accrual basis. And then I ask them what kind of services they're looking for. Like, do they need me to do their payroll? Do they need me just to pay their bills, to do their bank reconciliations, just stuff like that. So I do a little bit of an intake with them to go over it.
yeah, that's where like having asking lots of questions and getting data is useful,
Mhm,
especially when it
mhm,
comes to that AI then, right?
mhm, mhm.
So that's kind of why I bring that up, but that's going to allow you to connect with them, right? That's what we're talking about. You really are able to fine tune what it is that your customers are actually talking about, what bugs them, and etc. Um, all right, so the next up, so connecting through your messaging, right? So aligning your messaging with your customer pain points and their aspirations, kind of what we talked about already. I mean, do you find that they are talking a lot about their pain points? Is that a thing?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Like, oh no, the bookkeeper did something and now I don't know what happened.
Okay.
And, were you able to fix it? It happened months ago and I should have, just, yeah, definitely a lot of pain points. Yeah. Mhm.
So all of those things that they're saying, you could turn that into an ad or something,
Great
or
content for social media,
social
Yes,
media
articles,
post.
exactly.
blogs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is how I help. Does this sound like you? This is how I can help.
Exactly. Mhm.
exactly. Yeah. You can even do like
Um,
a video series and start on
Mhm.
your own YouTube channel based on the
Yeah.
problems that they've been telling you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
would imagine that like different nonprofits have different pain points and different problems.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
imagine. Yeah.
Absolutely do. Yep. Yep.
And it
No
probably
one's the
changes with
same.
the size
Oh
of
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, all that is going to be important. And then like that can help you kind of figure out, well, do I want to work with more of these particular clients, because of these problems that I know how to solve, relatively easily. Um, I think there's a concept of like, and I don't know how accurate this is. I've heard mixed, varying uh, evaluations, but the concept of being a wolf when it comes to sales versus like a farmer. And so wolves basically will or hunters, sorry, wolf hunter, but they really target on somebody and build their entire campaign specifically for one or maybe two types of people. So it's all highly customized, but they have a high success rate. But that's a lot of effort, you know what I mean? And you really got to be sure of yourself. Whereas a farmer, they know how to solve problems for a particular type, and so they can just kind of sit there and say, if this sounds like you, come to me, I can fix your problems, that kind of thing. So it's kind of the difference between going after them and letting them come to you. So which one would you prefer, I guess? The the hunters tend to have like make more money, I guess, have higher score higher, I guess you could say, but
Yeah.
um, you know, the farmers probably make it up in volume, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
anyway, all right. So let's see here. Um, so I guess yeah, testing your niche, right, and the
Mm-hmm.
messaging for the different types of niches that you might want to explore.
Yes.
Um, looking at your alignable profile, I think, and you actually said restaurants, nonprofits, and financial advisors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's good. You got it down to three. That's really good.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that in one of my networking calls. They said, just narrow it down to three. It's just too much. And
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to put that I had a doctorate on there. And they're like, no, put it on there. It gives you more
Uh,
credibility. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay,
Like,
it's not
is
like
she a
I'm not a
doctor of
big,
books? What is this?
All right, you
no,
spent all the time in school, might as well use it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have my doctorate in business administration. So
There you
yeah.
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
and I
Yeah.
have a master's degree in accounting. So, but I've been doing this all my life. So,
Awesome.
um, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the exact type of stuff that sets you apart, right? Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
yes, yes, yes,
You didn't just take
Um,
a course based on a YouTube ad.
yes, yes. Yeah, marketing. That wasn't really my focus in my studies or anything. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, surely you touched on it, but probably not. Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, just
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Right
just make
here.
you take like one or two marketing
Yeah.
courses. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
They say with doctors, lawyers, and sounds like even with, accountants and bookkeepers and people,
exactly.
they teach you how to do what you do,
Do
but they
right,
don't
right,
teach you how to get customers
right, right.
so that you can keep doing what
Yep,
you do.
yep,
Which
yep.
which
So
is a
Right.
that's
whole
why,
nother course of study, right?
Which
yes,
is,
and that's
yeah,
why
it's
I
a whole
rely
other
on,
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
I rely on like learning
Yeah.
different things and different websites. And I'm a big researcher and learner, so I like that.
Yeah.
So I like learning
Yeah.
about things and figuring things out.
Yeah. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll serve you well, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, Simone, do we have any kind of examples of where this has worked for any businesses off the top of your head in
Well,
terms of
with
messaging and getting that aligned?
getting aligned with messaging, I think like Harley Davidson, they're good with their messaging. Um, like for
How
one
so?
thing,
The
um, like I never see Harley Davidson ads.
Mhm.
I never see, but then again, I'm not the not very interested in motorcycles or riding motorcycles or being out on the open road. It's
Mhm.
just me and the road, right? That's not
Mhm.
my thing. So anybody who is advertising that kind of lifestyle, well then I'm not the target, so I'm not going to see your ads. But
Right.
then anytime I drive past a Harley Davidson dealership, there's lots of people out there and there's lots of motorcycles and
Mhm.
guys just high-fiving each other and they're having a big it's a thing, right?
Right.
Um So obviously the message is resonating, but it's resonating with the people who it needs to resonate with,
Mhm.
and not people like me who are not necessarily interested.
Right, 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 right.
All right. Um, I
So
don't
where
know.
do
So
you find those
think
people though? Like, how do you find those people? Especially like on Alignable, you're not really allowed to like promote yourself other than in the groups or stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
alignable.
comes down
So
to really knowing who your client and your customer is, right? So
right.
yeah, like you've narrowed it down to three.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
so now what you need to do is to find out like what are the characteristics of those people, what do they like, what do they don't like, where do they like to hang out, what do they like to talk about,
Hmm.
um, where are they gathering. Sometimes it's where are they gathering to complain about stuff in their industry, right?
Right,
You know, you
right,
could
right.
I've found a good place to find a community of the people that are my ideal is in Facebook groups,
Okay.
because it's a free, easy way to
Hmm.
just get in front of a lot of them. And the thing to do in Facebook groups is to get in there, read the posts, listen to what's going on,
Okay.
and and start answering people's questions.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
um, and make yourself known. Make
Hmm.
yourself the hero, right? You're the
Right,
hero
right.
of these folks asking these questions. So you know, there's Facebook groups. People will refer you to other groups,
Okay.
and then there are some of these, depending on the industry, they have associations where they gather. They may have outside forums, outside online forums, but they may
Hmm.
also have, um, if they get together
Hmm.
um, several times a year, different
Hmm.
places. That's a place where you can find yourself, you
Right.
know,
Okay. Hmm.
just hanging out with them.
yeah, a lot of it has to do. You also have to keep in mind like the nature of the group or the platform. In the case of Alignable, like its explicit like intent is to get people into networking relationships, right? Where you're
Right.
meeting with people, and it's kind of like breaking down that online barrier. You're not sitting
Yes.
behind an ad that's being shot out, shotgun style mass. Um, you're actually a real human who's ready, willing, and able to meet with people and
Right.
build that know, like, and trust factor,
Hmm.
right? That's so networking is uh, a good way to figure that out.
Hmm.
Especially like if it's business related, obviously.
Exactly. Exactly.
BNI is another networking
Yeah,
group. Probably
I'm a
familiar.
member of BNI. Yeah, I did join
Yeah,
that this past month, last month,
yeah.
January. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, so okay, so you're the only bookkeeper, I'm
Bookkeeper
guessing,
in
in your
that
group.
group. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
And
that's great.
I visit other groups that are usually online when they do their meetings.
Yeah,
Some of them are in person, but the ones I join, I go to ones that don't have a bookkeeper, like a seat,
yeah,
and just go as like a visitor, like a member
yeah,
visitor, whatever it is. So yeah.
yep. Um,
It's a good way to go.
you should come join a group that I'm involved with called H7. If you're interested.
What is it called?
H7.
H7. Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop a link in the
Okay,
chat
great.
here. But we have discussions every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern,
Hmm.
revolving around different aspects related to business. It's leadership, sales and leadership, marketing, operations, and money. So
Okay. Yeah, I would like that. Hmm.
anyway, just an idea. And this week we're actually talking about AI, so that's tomorrow. So
Okay.
if you're, come if you're interested. But little quick little commercial there.
Hmm.
Um, all right. So one thing I would suggest with when you're in the process of figuring out, especially
Hmm.
like cold emails and that kind of stuff, is doing A/B testing. Finding out what is actually working.
Hmm.
I would highly recommend that. There are platforms, email marketing platforms that are built specifically for cold outreach
Hmm.
that include email addresses that are technically, burnable. There's
Mhm.
they do things like email address warming and that kind of stuff, and then they also have incorporate A/B testing if you're really looking to get technical about it. But
Mhm.
um, all right, so now we know what drives our messaging or effective messaging. So how do we bring it all together into an actionable strategy? Um, so we talk about now we're going to talk a little bit about how to create a detailed customer persona and what that might look like. Um, there's different ways you can go about this, right? Um, you can't like you're doing currently. You record your conversations, really kind of build up over time who your customers are. I think that's good. You can do things like surveys. You can do research for customer data. There's all kinds of, I would imagine there's all kinds of stuff out there for, especially for bookkeeping. Um, who needs what and what's the latest and greatest, right?
Mhm.
Like someone mentioned online communities. Great place. So yeah, this also I'll go ahead and give you this. This is a worksheet in the and this allows you to build a customer persona.
Okay.
And so basically,
Included as a download for the video as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So you have this is strategic growth planner, your target customer, identifying your target market, building your target customer, you know, then it's documented, it's on paper, you have something there
Mhm.
that's solid that you can then become part of your business documents, right?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have like 10 minutes left. Do you want to run through some of that,
Sure.
start to build your ideal target market? So basically, the idea here is you want everybody to know, right? But as the saying goes, if everyone is your customer, then no one is your customer, right? So
Mhm. Okay. Right.
um, that's kind of why there's another way to put it is especially when it comes to like that idea of being a farmer, right?
Mhm.
Going an inch wide and a mile deep instead of an inch deep and a mile wide, right? So it's kind of
Right.
the same idea. If you really know who you're talking to and what their problems are, then it will definitely be communicated. So the first step: who are my ideal customers? And you've already talked about restaurants, uh, nonprofits, financial
Nonprofits,
advisors, but demographics.
very
What are
different
their?
industries.
Yeah, they are exactly. They're going to have different, would say different avatars. Um, So let's just, what about restaurants? What are the demographics of the ideal customer when it comes to restaurants? Age, income, education. Do you have any idea?
This is key research to do.
Yeah. Definitely research. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about their pain points? Anything that comes to mind that tends to that they tend to say over and over again about um, problems they're having, what keeps them up at night?
Um, Mainly like their payroll stuff and dealing with the tips and stuff like that, and just a lot goes into a restaurant business as far as accounting goes, because you got to calculate the cost of food, and it's more like a cost accounting um, type of accounting. So like, and a lot of restaurant owners don't understand that. So um, So yeah, stuff like that, like the cost of stuff and how it gets allocated, and really understanding what kind of profit you're making with that. So, and then obviously it's the payroll stuff with the calculating their tips and their hourly rate and just stuff like that. So,
Okay.
So I just looked, just did a Google search for bookkeeping for restaurants,
mhm.
and I found, are you familiar with Reddit?
Yes, I am.
Reddit was just recently bought by Google,
Oh,
mainly so that they could use the actual true human inputs to train their AI.
mhm,
And you'll find a lot of times if you do a Google search that one of the top few results tend to be from Reddit.
mhm,
And that's partly why, right?
right.
No mistake there, but they actually have a subreddit dedicated to bookkeeping specifically.
Okay.
And, talking about Simone mentioned joining communities, that might be one to look at. I just found a post in here about bookkeeping for restaurants.
Mhm,
And so this is a something that obviously is on people's minds here.
mhm,
I would imagine that there's probably specialized software that restaurants are using.
yes. Yep. Mhm, yep.
Is that
There's
is
different ones out there.
okay? Are
Mhm.
you intending to become like trained on that software? Are you already trained on that software?
No, I would have to be trained on it definitely, but yeah. Mhm,
Yeah. So so that's a consideration to make, right?
mhm,
And
So the next question is, why should they buy from you and not a competitor?
yeah,
So
yeah,
so we already talked about you being having a doctorate degree and a
mhm,
master's degree,
mhm,
and
mhm,
um, you know accounting, you know
mhm.
bookkeeping.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, so
And
other than
well,
that, is there anything else that sets you apart?
I'm most familiar again with as my niche is nonprofit. So I definitely could target the nonprofit field because I've worked in that type of field. I understand the intricacies of all that and stuff like that.
yeah.
And
It'd probably
yeah,
be a lot easier for you to get in there and start talking
mhm.
to them right
And just
away.
right,
Right,
figuring
in
it out. Yep.
restaurants, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you
Restaurants,
were to
it would
say,
take a little more research, right?
Right, right,
Potentially.
right,
yeah,
right,
Yeah.
right. Because a lot of I noticed like just from different ads and stuff, people say, oh, you don't need a degree to be a bookkeeper. But like, I guess like for me, it would be like, well, I have my master's degree in accounting, so I understand that that field. Whereas maybe somebody who's just not just a bookkeeper, but somebody that's just getting into it and learning it might take them a little bit longer time to catch on to different things and different aspects of the type of trade business that you're working for.
Can you remember what it was like when you first started as a bookkeeper? What 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 were your challenges at that point?
Um, well, the challenges were like understanding the debits and the credits and um, just that's probably the hardest part that people get confused. Like, oh, I don't know what 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 type of balance does cash have, or what type of balance does revenue have? Is it a debit or a credit, or so that's if you understand that, that's a big thing for like doing bookkeeping as well. Like you need to understand that if you have a debit in a revenue account, that's not good because you want to have a credit in a revenue account. So, going through and working for different companies or you learn a lot more the different kind of intricacies that they have. So, one nonprofit I worked for didn't really do depreciation, like they didn't depreciate stuff, whereas the company that I worked for does. It's a big thing for them, so you have to understand depreciation, especially in restaurant business, because you use equipment and
Yeah.
that could be depreciated. And
Oh, yeah.
so it's just the little intricacies of different types of businesses and what they you know what they what you can what they can write off and different things. So yeah.
So let me ask you, do you feel that you make more errors now
No,
or
less
fewer?
errors. Yeah,
Okay,
less errors.
okay. So that might
Yeah.
be a distinguishing factor, right? You
Yes,
know,
yes. I
they can
catch
they
the
can
errors. That's the person I
so
am.
some they can pay a lower amount, you
Yes.
know, for a newbie,
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
they can pay your premium
Right.
price. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
For
Right.
somebody that knows what they're doing is going to do it right the first
Right.
time,
Because
right?
if
So
they hire somebody that's new, and then that stuff happens, they're eventually going to have to look for somebody
yeah,
that's more experienced and then pay more money.
right.
And you're
They-
just
They'll
paying.
end- they'll end up with you anyway, right? Is that
Yes, 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 yes,
And
yes, yes.
or end up paying the government more than they need to be
Exactly,
paying.
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah. So what are the excuse me common objections that they may have working with
Um,
you?
Sometimes they have objections to your rates, like, oh, that's a little bit high, or, um, but not really objections to the type of work I do. Like I give them references and stuff like that, so they don't have any type of objections to that. But sometimes it's the rate. I had a nonprofit ask me for my, what I can do to help them, and I tried to get down as low as I could, and they just said, we're very small, we're just starting out, and I understand that too. So yeah, sometimes their pain point is that, especially for nonprofits who are on a limited income, what they bring in, can have issues with paying somebody to do their books and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
A new nonprofit wouldn't necessarily be an ideal client because they're
no,
not necessarily bringing in
enough money
enough
to,
revenue
right,
to
right, right.
cover your
Mm-hmm,
rate.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. So like even within your niche industry, you still have to look at, well, what level do they need to be at really to be considered an ideal for me, right? You
right.
don't want to necessarily go looking for the ones who set up who got their 501(c)(3)
Mm-hmm,
yesterday,
mm-hmm. Right, 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 right.
um yeah, you want the ones that have been
M-
in it for a
More
while
established,
who
and
need
yeah,
an
and have some
experienced
revenue coming
bookkeeper,
in, and yeah. Mm-hmm,
right?
I worked for a nonprofit out of college. It was a outdoor school, and actually I split my time between the outdoor school and Keep America Beautiful affiliate in Reno, Nevada. Anyway, it was interesting to me because the Keep America Beautiful affiliate had, you know, obviously board members, but one of their board members was a CPA, so he did all the books.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you, do you run into that situation a lot?
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah. I've worked for nonprofits where they try to get people on their board, because a lot of nonprofits don't pay like a board of directors, they're all volunteer. But a lot of them try to get like lawyers and
Yeah,
accountants and stuff like that, financial advisors. So they try to, to target people like that to be on their board. So because then they would understand what's going on if the nonprofit had an issue, So yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Smart.
is that a problem for you then? Because that's the thing
No.
about working for nonprofits, right? There's so many
Mhm.
stakeholders that you have to
Yeah,
please.
no,
And okay,
no, never a problem. Mm-mm,
yeah.
no.
Um, so who is not your target market, your target customer?
Um,
We already talked about the newbies, so not them.
yeah, not
Yeah.
newbies. Not real huge businesses, I guess, because my target market would be more to small to medium business size businesses. Um, Nothing like Amazon or anything like that. They're huge businesses, but stuff like
Ugh.
that.
Try to
So
take that all on
yeah,
yourself, huh?
no, no.
That'd be
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. So it sounds like you already have, you know, some pretty clear ideas here, some clearly defined ideas about who you're going after. So that next page is kind of helps you break down the demographics and psychographics a little bit more, and gives you a box for taking action for the next 30 days, what you might do. So yeah, I think we're at the top of the hour here, or we're just a little bit past. So, uh, Simone, are you ready to wrap this up?
Sure. So we talked about why we even want to profile an ideal customer. Like
Mhm.
what's, we want to make sure that we have deeper connections. Our messaging is targeted and we're attracting the right people and repelling the wrong people. We want to incorporate psychographics as well as demographics when we are profiling our ideal customer, right? We want to look at not just, their age and where they're located, and their
Mhm.
gender and that kind of thing. We also want to know like what is it that they believe? What are their hobbies? Where do they hang out?
What are their
Mhm.
What are their
motivations?
pain points?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. Mhm.
why they even started their businesses. And
Mhm.
so we're refining so that we can refine those messages. And we want to make sure that we're resonating, we're building relationships with our ideal customers and keep keep them coming keep
Mhm.
them coming when it comes to being able to serve them. We want to make sure that we are actually serving them in the right way and we're
Mhm.
offering what they actually need and that our messaging is clear and
Mhm.
concise and it's
Yep.
actually reaching the people that we need to reach. So when it
Mhm.
comes to putting out content on social media or blogs or videos or you know um,
Mhm.
all of those actions that we do, we want to make sure that our messaging is right.
Mhm.
We're reaching the people
Yeah.
we want to
We want to
actually reach.
reach. Yeah. Mhm.
So
Especially like look like you can really fine tune your website and everything specifically around restaurants or specifically
Mhm.
around nonprofits, and you can
Mhm.
become the go-to bookkeeper for nonprofits.
Right, right, right.
exactly,
It
exactly.
sounds counterintuitive, but when you
Yeah,
do
but
that,
that makes sense. Yeah, it does. It makes
well,
sense.
right, but when you do
Mhm.
Yeah,
that too, it sounds like you're going to like limit yourself, but you end up
Mhm.
it ends up being exactly the opposite. So,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
They look at you as a specialist, right? And
Mhm.
oh, I
Mhm.
could go to the person who serves everybody. And oh well, and they might get confused in their heads about like
Mhm.
accounting for a nonprofit versus accounting
Mhm.
for a restaurant versus
Mhm.
accounting for a construction company.
Right.
Or I could go to somebody who specializes in bookkeeping for a nonprofit who understands the
yeah,
tax
Yes.
implications and
Yes.
all
Yes.
of all of that what goes into running a nonprofit. It's like, oh, the choice is a
Right.
no-brainer really
Right.
hmm
Right. Right.
at that point.
Mhm.
So um so you're ready to up level your customer insights and refine your business strategy. Um, click the we're gonna drop the download in
Mhm.
the comments below, or not in the comments, but in the description. So you'll have
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
And uh, Nate is a guy to go to for business strategy.
Okay.
I am the automation queen. So once you
Okay.
figure out your strategy, I'll help you automate the whole customer
Okay.
life cycle.
Okay.
And so that you keep customers coming back.
Right. 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 That's what you
You bring
want.
them in the
That's yeah.
door and you keep
Mhm.
them,
Keep them
right? You
right.
want to keep them.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So that is it for today. Until next time. So um, it's all about truly understanding your customer. And once you understand them, the possibilities for growth is endless. Thank you so
Mhm.
much for watching today. And
Mhm.
we will see you next time. Nate, you got one more thing you want to add?
no, I'm good. Thanks, Karen, for
Mhm.
joining us.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Thank
Thank
Good to
you,
you.
meet you.
Karen.
Thank you for
Yeah,
allowing me to be part of it.
absolutely. Hey, if you
Absolutely.
want, come back next week. We change it up every week and bring your
Okay.
friends.
Awesome. Awesome. I will.
So,
Thanks.
all right,
Absolutely.
All
all
right.
right.